Welcome back to the news at 10. About 350 policemen have been deployed by the Inspector General of Police to Kogi State Command to stem the wave of crime in the state. The State Commissioner of Police, Gbajabiamila, disclosed this to journalists during the parade of robbery suspects in Lokoja, the state capital. Mr. Gbajabiamila gave the assurances that the command will not relent in its effort to rid the state of criminal elements.
Kogi State, one of the 6 states in Nigeria's north-central region. For some time now, armed robbery and kidnapping have been on the rise in the agriculture-based state, and the residents say they can no longer sleep with their 2 eyes closed. Recently, some top government officials, Chinese nationals and 1 American were kidnapped in the state. Some of them were only released after the payment of ransom, while others are still being held captive. The recent deployment of troops to the state appears to be yielding some results, with the arrest of some suspects across the state.
In less than 1 month, we've arrested groups of criminals, various syndicates. We should carry out a thorough investigation in a discreet manner and ensure successful prosecution.
The police commissioner also discloses that the effort has drastically reduced the rate of robbery along major highways and other affected routes across the state.
The criminals that are here, one of them, for example, is the one that has been terrorizing the Basa asses. We were able to arrest him. He's a solo criminal. And since we arrested this guy now, we have not seen a single robbery along that route. The route is very lonely, and people have always alleged that they were attacked by a solo Fulani man. That man is there.
The police also paraded other suspects alleged to have burnt a transformer in a bid to steal and sell the mercury in it, and another in possession of an AK-47 rifle.
Environment experts have asked governments at all levels to make the case for the environment a priority. During the event to mark this year's World Environment Day, experts explained that the duty of care involves everyone and more must be done to stem the effect of climate change.
There's need for people who are in government, especially now that we are inaugurating a new administration. There's need for legislators, commissioners, ministers to undergo some health, safety and environment training. Yes, that will assist in formulation of robust policies that are consistent with the realities of the environment.
The case regarding Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila's eligibility to run for the office of House of Representatives is getting reactions from the lawmakers who feel otherwise. A statement signed by Honorable Rufai Chachangi on behalf of Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila says they would like to state emphatically that Justice Abdul Kafarate of the Federal High Court Abuja did not only refuse to grant the ex parte order brought by a group known as the Registered Trustees of Social Justice and Civil Rights Awareness Initiative, but the judge ordered that the respondents be put on notice, and the case was adjourned to June the 18th, 2015 for hearing on the motion of notice. Honorable Chachangi went further to say that on the issue of professional misconduct, the State Bar of Georgia, in a letter dated August the 30th, 2010, stated clearly that allegations against Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila is not related to criminal allegations, and that Mr. Gbajabiamila is currently an active member in good standing of the Bar State of Georgia. He then adds that following the declaration by Justice Abdul Kafarati on June the 8th, 2015, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila is qualified to contest for the speakership election tomorrow, June the 9th, and members-elect across party lines have in the vein resolved to sustain their unflinching support for the aspiration of Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila as the next Speaker of the House of Representatives. We're going to cross over to the world of business. Emana Amawe will join us shortly.
First Bank. You first.
Hello and welcome to Business News. Nigeria's unemployment rate jumped to 7.5% in the first quarter of the year, compared to 6.4% in the fourth quarter of 2014. The number of unemployed Nigerians rose by 18.43% between the last quarter of 2014 and the first quarter of 2015, while the number of underemployed dipped by 6.46%. Details from a report released by the Statistics Office also show that labor productivity in Nigeria is constrained by the high level of unemployment and underemployment in the country. According to the NBS, labor productivity dropped slightly by 2.4% in the first quarter of the year over the 2014 average, reflecting the weakening of the US dollar to the naira during the review period. And global financial services firm JP Morgan says it would eject Nigeria from its government bond index for emerging markets by the end of 2015, unless Nigeria restores liquidity to currency markets to encourage foreign investors. The United States-based lender, which had given Nigeria until this month to increase currency markets liquidity or face ejection from the bond index, says it extended the deadline by another 6 months, taking into consideration Nigeria's new political administration. Removal from the index will result in significant capital outflows, raising borrowing costs for Nigeria. And Stanbic IBTC's bank's 15.44 billion naira Pt.2 bond has been listed on the financial markets dealers quotation over-the-counter market. The corporate bond, which is the second to be listed on the FMDQ OTC platform, is coming as the market improves on its level of transparency in securities price discovery.
Until now, the FMDQ OTC platform had been dominated by federal government bonds. But with the bond market revolution, corporate bonds are beginning to come on board. 2 months ago, it was the listing of UBA bond. And today, executives of Stanbic IBTC Bank are here to list their 15.44 billion naira Tier 2 capital in the fixed income markets.
The reason we raised the bond was, one, to enhance our capital base because the bond qualifies as Tier 2 capital. It's a 10-year bond, first of its kind in a program in the country. We're very, very delighted at the success that we witnessed.
The issuance gave investors the opportunity to either subscribe to a fixed rate bond or a floating rate bond. Again, this is the first that we've had, such an issuance.
The FMDQ OTC team proceeds to formally adopt Stanbic IBTC Bank into its platform by means of registration.
This was for listing and your bond, which will provide active secondary market for the bondholders and future investors who will buy the bond.
For FMDQ OTC, this second bond listing is a proof of transparency in the decentralized market.
You won't have market making on a bond that is 15 billion, but you have credibility for it to have been listed on the exchange. You have transparency about the bond. All the information about the bond, you have all the information on FMDQ website. That encourages secondary market.
It is a transparently managed exchange. We can confirm that it is trying to encourage listing of bonds from corporates in Nigeria. We can also confirm, based on our experience, that the exchange is trying to encourage liquidity.
Part of the benefit of why people will choose which particular exchange to list is the liquidity that is in that exchange. So state bonds are welcome, and we believe that we'll soon have a state bond that will list here.
With more bond issues expected this year, the FMDQ OTC is keen about the integration of the domestic fixed income markets with a standard self-regulatory framework.
Pan-African listed lender Ecobank Transnational Incorporated has announced the appointment of a new group chief executive officer the fourth for the Togo-based lender since 2012 when Alfred Ekpe retired in controversial circumstances. The new group CEO announced on Monday was Ade Ayeyemi, a chief executive in charge of sub-Saharan Africa at Citigroup in Johannesburg, South Africa. Ayeyemi would be taking over on September the 1st, replacing the current head of the EcoBank Transnational, Albert Essien, who retires on June 30, 2015, after 25 years' service with the banking group. An announcement released to the Nigerian Stock Exchange stated that an interim management team would be put in place between June ending and the 1st of September when Ade Ayeyemi would assume office. And the Nigerian equities market begins the week in negative territory as the all-share index dips by 22 basis points to close at 33,590.48. Here's Temple Ashaju with details.
Hello and welcome to Stock Market Report. Equities trading at the Nigerian Stock Exchange began the week on a negative note as the key benchmark index fell by 0.22% to close at 33,590.33 points. And that brings the market's year-to-date losses to 3.08%. Now, top on the gainers list today is PZ with a gain of 1 naira 46 kobo. Seplat follows with 1 naira 1 kobo appreciation, while we have WAPCO that comes next with 50 kobo addition in value. And now Guinness Nigeria tops the decliners list, shedding 5 naira in price. Nestle lost 4 naira, while Better Glass lost 2 naira in its value. UBA brought the largest volume of shares to the table with over 165 million units traded on the floor. Zenith Bank had 39 million units, while Beko Petro traded on 25 million units of shares at the end of the day. Now, in all, a total of 337 million shares valued at 2.8 billion naira were traded in 3,481 deals. And that's it on the Stock Market Report. I'm Temple Ashaju.
Many thanks, Temple. And that's it on Business News. I'm Emana Amawe. Stay tuned for more figures from the global markets.
First Bank. You first.
Next on the news at 10, Super Falcons lock horns with Sweden in Canada 2015 Women's World Cup opening week game. Well, that'll be on sports. We join us again.